I'm Candy Abbott, Director of the Fruit Bearer Retreat. This will be our 6th conference, our 5th retreat. We're holding this at the Atlantic Sands Hotel in Rehoboth Beach, and we do hope you can join us. It's different this year than other years. So far, the other retreats have been centered on women. They've actually been promoted as Fruit Bearer Women's Retreat. However, this time we are opening it up to teenagers and girls over 10 because we want this to be an intergenerational activity where mothers and daughters, grandmothers and granddaughters, and friends and relatives, we don't want to leave out our single sisters. So this is appropriate for any woman or girl who is 10 or older. We're so excited because the venue is totally different. Before, we hosted the retreat at places that housed 30, 35 maximum in the conference room. This time, we have reserved the Swan Ballroom, which seats 250 people. So we're really excited about expanding the venue and hoping that the Holy Spirit will move in extremely powerful ways, as He has always done at each of our retreats. The difference is we were learning and growing over these few years of what we're all about. And what we are about is serving the women of God and bonding together with the Holy Spirit, with one another, in such a way that we can take a new energized relationship with Christ at a deeper level back to our churches, back to our communities, back to our families.
What did you like most about the Women's Retreat, Fruit Bearers Retreat last year?
I think the Covenant of Silence for me was an amazing time with the Lord. I started out on the floor with my Bible and my journal and just started writing down things that He said to me. Started out with one word, phrase, or phrases, and ended up, I don't know at what point into it, but just like He was just pouring out a letter to me, and I just started writing, and I had pages and pages. And when I realized how much time had gone by, it was 5 minutes to 1, and I had not only used our hour of Covenant of Silence, but I had used my entire lunchtime. And I just found it amazing that I could just completely lose all track of time and just be so completely embraced by Him and quiet with Him, and just felt so loved, and it just filled my love tank. Is the only thing, I just was, if you come in empty, you will not go away anything but full.
Yeah, I think for me it was the same thing. It was the Covenant of Silence. And I took my lunch period as well, and like you said, you just lose track of time. It's like, it's just you and God and nothing else matters. You hear the waves in the ocean and just the sand and the breeze. And I remember specifically asking God, can you please show me yourself? I mean, just like the prophets did. Daniel saw you by the river. John saw you and you revealed revelation to him. Please show me, just show me your majesty and your glory right here, just me and you. And after all that, I didn't really see anything. I opened my eyes, I just saw a seagull, and then there was this gentle whisper that came to my mind, basically. And I was like, okay, gentle whisper. There was a gentle wind that touched my cheek, and that was it. So I was like, man, I didn't really see God's glory. What in the world? And so I go back to, we go back to the retreat and to the table, and one of the verses was this still small voice, but the version of the verse, it says a gentle whisper. So to me, that was just God basically verifying, I was there. I showed you my glory, but it was a gentle whisper. If you want to experience the Holy Spirit and just the presence of the Lord fully, this is definitely the retreat for you.
From the breath prayer to the personal prayer, like you were talking about, from person to person, to just the whole experience for me was just uplifting,
Yes.
Reviving,
Yes.
revitalizing.
Yes, I can
It was the whole package for
Yes,
me.
yes.
And I just completely loved it. I couldn't wait to get back to church and back home and to my family and to my friends to tell them that the experiences that I had.
But when we began to experience just laying that cross down and being able to write on the heart, write our heart's prayer, and then be able to take, first we came and we were anointed individually, and then we had an opportunity to pick up that nail and lay that heart on the cross. And when I picked up the nail and I took the hammer in my hand and I began to just bang down on that nail and hammer into it, it was almost as if I was right there at the foot of the cross with Jesus. I could experience and I could visualize all that he went through for us, the love that he had for us. And it was an awesome experience and a life-changing experience for me.
My breath prayer was, the word was deep. And I thought about the deep calling unto the deep. So I asked the Lord to continue to call unto the deep in me, because I realized that it is him who has placed that deepness, that desire. It's God that worketh in us both the will and to do of his good pleasure. So I thank God for putting in me the yearning. As a deer panteth by the water, so my soul began to pan after him.
Coming in the room, not knowing anybody at all but Star, I was not out of place. I was still comfortable because of the Spirit of God in the room. In the place, from sister to sister, it's like this is my sister. It's like I'm amongst my sisters. So I was really comfortable. I was fine.
Because I had desired, I had asked the Lord, I said, Lord, I want to go with sisters, not just black or white or, I wanted the rainbow, and that's what my drawing was, the rainbow, with the sun setting right there. And I just thank God because he answered that prayer for me. And I felt totally comfortable in the presence of my sisters. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. And I'm looking forward to next year.
My biggest thing that I came to grips with my first year at the women's retreat was that I needed to forgive all the earthly men in my life. Let them be humans and only ask to understand God so that I could accept him completely and not be angry and hold on to that judgment of past experiences. My second year through the retreat, I always had a big issue with looking at myself in the mirror, and no one ever knew that about me. I guess you could say the last activity we had to do was to look at ourselves in front of a full-length mirror as if we were looking at ourselves through God's eyes.
Wow.
And you need to, in order to accomplish that goal, you had to do it in front of everybody there. So it was like walking up to the altar, and the altar was a mirror who is God looking at yourself. So for me, that was a huge step, and I finally let go.
And a huge release too.
Yeah. And
awesome.
then this past year, I was ever since that day, I've been able to look at myself in the mirror and not judge myself and accept me for who I am, but I've always doubted a lot about who I am. So this year it was dealing with the fact that if I am denying all the gifts that God has given me, good and bad, then I'm denying his goals for my life, for what I can do for him. So this year it was finally accepting who I am with the good and the bad, and realizing that I am God's gift and that he has a purpose for my life. And if I listen to him, and not the devil. If I start refusing the bad words, the bad comments, the bad things I hear the devil telling me, and stop believing that and turn to God, then I can get through anything. So through the years, I have gotten stronger and stronger with God because of me accepting who I am. Not that I've ever doubted God or my relationship with Him, but I've doubted me.
Right.
And so it's just made me stronger. So I want to share that with other women.
That's awesome.
So I'm glad you're
great.
going to join us next year.
I'm glad to be a part of it too.
Yeah.
And it's true what you said though, is that, I mean, God's got a destiny for all of us and a plan. You know, before in our mother's womb, He knew us and He set us apart. But a lot of times it's hard to accept that plan because we don't see ourselves as worthy enough, or even the things we've gone through in life. But He was always with us through it all. And when you really look back and you see that He was the center of it all, you become out stronger, you know, and you identify who you are. And
Exactly.
He's good. He's
He
a
is
good God.
good.
So I'm excited too about what God's doing and for next May.
And
so,
for the young girls.
I'm
very
very
excited.
I am too, that they're a part of it.
Yeah.
Generation.
For Sage, I've always gone to the Women of Faith and Mom,
Okay.
which we go to the one in D.C. in the summertime.
Okay.
And every year we go. Sage, my daughter, says, "Mommy, when can I go with you and Grandma?"
Same thing Carly does. Yep.
Yeah, and I said, well, they have one for teens, so maybe when you become a teenager. Well, what age is that? Can I go when I'm 10? Can I go? I said, well, how about 13? That seems to be like a good age.
Right.
So, and I know with Mom's trying to prepare the retreat this year, she's had some people that their granddaughters are saying, why can't I go? That are 9 and 10 years old. So I think this is the beginning of touching those girls and that while they're interested and getting it as their foundation of who they are as women.
That's right.
Because I think if we center them with God, knowing who they are, and then I think they'll be stronger women as they get older and go through situations that make them doubt themselves, like we did when we were growing up.
Right. I think too, it's also a legacy of, like, you know, because you know, we're here for every time God has us here, and then one day we're going to be called home, and that they're going to have to carry on the torch too. And I think too, a lot of times when they see the true meaning of being a Christian and the hunger and the joy that only He gives, it's contagious to them. And they see their moms and they want to emulate, like a young girl, she always emulates her mom. And so they see that positiveness of who Christ is in our life, and they want to emulate that, and they're hungry for that too. So I think it's awesome that that they can walk in that as well, and that when they walk in Him, that there's a good plan for their life, you know, and hopefully they can make others contagious for Christ too, because their peers will see who they are.
Exactly.
So you were at Candy's when we were planning for the Fruit Bearer Conference this year. I want to thank you for your help. You were a big help.
You're welcome.
You made the cookies. And I want to replay what happened in my living room. We were gathering up the things to take and prepare, and we were all excited about cutting fabric and everything that we were doing, and we were talking about making cookies. And then, out of the blue, you said,
Can I come?
that's the magic words. That's what you said. And Karen and I looked at each other and we said, this is for women. And so I'm so sorry I had to tell you that you couldn't come. But I said, I'm the conference director and I make the decisions, and you're giving me a really good idea. And I think next year we could open this up to girls 10 and older, have teens come, young adults as well as women, and I think we might be onto something. And isn't that what happened then? It got all exciting, everything, and that's when we thought, who could cross intergenerational lines? And I thought about my friend and mentor Nancy Rue and her 110 books and writing for tweens. So I emailed her, and immediately she said she would come. So thanks to you, Kristen, we have a whole new format for 2013, and I'm so excited.
So what would you say to kids your age if you were going to tell them to come to this event? What would you say?
I would beg my parents to come.
And guess what? I think they'll let you. I'm happy to have you there as my granddaughter, and I hope that your mother will come. It'll give us all a chance to bond. And I want to thank you for all the years you've helped with this conference and never been able to come. You've been helping for many years. You helped Grandma with all sorts of different baking and wrapping and packing and hauling things, and you've been a great help to me, honey. Thank you.
I didn't really want to come to Fruitbearer, not because there was anything wrong with Fruitbearer or anything like that. It was 3 months prior to when I registered. I thought it was a good idea. I thought, yeah, because I know Candy, I've been to a great. But as I got near, I thought, darn, I had so much to do. I'm giving up a weekend, and I thought, and then what happened was, I thought, I said I was going to do it.
To honor that commitment.
I have to honor that commitment, and something I've been practicing. And so I went, and I was so glad that I did go, because we talk about retreat. I think it's one of the first times I really felt like I had retreated from that busyness of life and being able to sit in the comfort of sisters in the Lord, listening to a woman of wisdom sharing us about prayer, and I left revived and retreated.
And I'm really glad you went.
I'm really glad I went.
Didn't listen to that flesh, but listen to the Spirit telling you to go.
Well, wasn't the flesh maybe? It was the list. All the things I had to get done, which of course I would have done it that day.
I have a tendency to do a big sigh when I hear exercises, or we're going to do something around the table.
And you're being put on the spot and have to perform.
Yeah. And it's like, oh. So I walked into the room as they were setting it up, and I saw watercolors and paper on the table, and I thought, maybe I'll skip out on this one, or what if they'll miss me? And I thought, no.
That's the favorite thing. I can bring my glasses.
Yeah. So I thought, all right, just, be a big girl and go and just follow along and just kind of get through it. And then as we went through the session, and I found out what we were going to do with the watercolors and what we were doing with the paper, I still at that point was doing that big inner sigh, trying to act respectful. And then as we got into the exercise, and the speaker was telling us what to do, and when I finally acquiesced and allowed myself to relax and participate in the exercise, the Lord blessed me so much. And sitting at the round table was such a gift, because I was there with 8 other women, and what the Lord gave to each one individually and how we shared it, it was a gift. And the thing that was wonderful is that Star and Crystal, who spoke previously, were at our table, and it is exactly what they said. Because now we're these sisters. We were sisters before we got there, but now we're sisters. We know each other. We're friends. And then when we see each other again next year, we'll embrace each other, not just in first getting acquainted, but it will be the reunion of all of us getting together again. Exactly. And it'll just be, we go with this excited anticipation, not only in what the Lord's going to do, but in how we're going to be reunited with all of our sisters that we met previously.
And new sisters. We're hearing them telling people, once we reported what has happened, people were saying, well, why didn't you tell me about it? So now we are. And not only will we have a reunion with sisters that we met this year, with some new sisters. So ever-increasing family. There you go.
So I am so excited, as I said initially, to offer the 2013 Fruit Bearer Retreat. Welcome.